Well, hello. Welcome to Glacier. That's where I'm working today, or at least I'm looking for a few things to do. Came up here with the whole thing of to see what was to see and see if I could catch anything. Didn't have any particular agenda for imagery. Always looking out for wildlife. It is about 30 degrees and snowflakes, a few light snow showers, very light flurries happening, which is great. But planning on looking for wildlife and seeing if I can find a couple of really nice little landscapes to get in here in the snow. And if I ever find the right conditions and the right scene, I may even do a big pan out. So we'll see if that happens. Welcome to Glacier. Well, we're in the afternoon now, and I moved from the location I was starting at, which was the old river bridge, and I'm now driving along the shores of Lake McDonald here in January. It's been a really dry, snowless year so far, although there's, in places alongside the road, maybe a foot of snow. There was like about an inch of snow last night. Early this morning, so there's just a little bit on the road now. Lake is not frozen. The rocks along the lake have some nice little ice stuff on them, which is kind of fun. I just spent half an hour photographing the rocks and the ice in the lake. But I'm going to drive up along the way here and see if I can find another couple of nice scenery things to do. And always on the lookout for wildlife. Over here by McDonald, this time of year is basically just deer, fox, maybe a coyote, but more likely just fox and deer. I was hoping to see maybe an owl wander by, but don't usually see elk around here, and rarely do we see moose this time of year here. At least not that I've noticed when I've been coming here. A couple of years ago, in the fall, I left the park late, and trotting down the road was a lynx. Unfortunately, I didn't have the camera set up to shoot 10 o'clock at night in the dark. So I just got to see him in the headlights before he took one look at me and ran off into the woods. But that's the only time I've seen a lynx in the park was about 10:30 at night on the road. So yeah, it's never know quite what you're going to hear. When I go photographing moose, I usually go to the other side of the park, upper east side. But this is the lower west side, so we don't have quite the same wildlife and mix. But we're going to be wandering around and see what we can find. Well, there's the day in the park. First session of the WinterEp1 in Glacier. Very little wildlife, saw some ravens, and just finished a little section of chasing some belated woodpeckers through the woods, and with great non-success. Got some shots of silhouettes of them, but they decided after I saw them to head to the top of the trees, and with low light, and it's coming up on 5 o'clock, there's hardly any light. So that was not very successful. I'll see what I got, but I'm not planning on anything other than a silhouette. Did have some fun along the way with just landscapes and detail shots of rocks and ice and lake, and they had a good snowfall there for a few minutes, and now it's starting to lift, and I can start to see the mountains coming out of the clouds on the far end, on the south end of the lake. The north end of the lake here is still got the low clouds and a little bit of snowfall happening. So anyway, that's a wrap on Glacier 25 episode 1 in the winter. Well, that kind of wraps up the Glacier trip of yesterday. This is the full wrap. Got there midday-ish. It started out a little early. Temperatures were pretty mild, but it was really gray and flat. And found some nice imagery to work on. I was pretty pleased with some of the final images. There was a couple of panos thrown in there. The first image of the river bridge, the old river bridge, was a 8-image pano using the 200 millimeter as I panned across and then stitched together in Photoshop. Pretty pleased with how that one came out. Wouldn't mind if adding a little bit of snow at that point, but didn't have it. And then wandering through the park, there was some really nice ice structure on the little rocks along McDonald Lake, which I really liked. I could have spent hours there, and I probably shot about 50 to 100 shots between the big camera and the iPhone. I should have put everything back and run back to the car and gotten the macro for it, because there's just so much wonderful little detail of the ice and the bubbles within the ice in contrast to the rocks and the color of the rocks along the lake. And the final shot of the Snyder Creek entry into Lake McDonald in the fog I really liked the subtlety and the minimalism of that particular shot. So all in all, pretty good. I was really disappointed we didn't find more wildlife. The pileated woodpeckers were fun, but frustrating because when I first saw them, they were like 30 feet away and right about eye level. And by the time I switched out to the long telephoto, they had moved up the tree, and I spent the next half hour chasing them through the woods trying to get a shot of them. And I ended up with 1 or 2 shots of them, which was not anything that's going to end up in my book or my portfolio, but I threw in a shot for the fun of it. So anyway, thank you for watching. It was a great little day, and we'll be doing some more Glacier coming up. And I will say that I would really appreciate if you make a comment, see if you like any of the images, and subscribe, follow along for some more, and we'll see you soon.